Good morning. Welcome to today's Talking Cafe Live. We're bringing back some people that you already know from Somerset Waste Partnership. Today, I have actually recapped it as usual in a poem, which I'm going to read to you first, as we've had some glitches getting on. So apologies for being a bit late. It gives people time to sort of calm down as well and get focused. So, recycle more. Recycling is green, we know that for sure. And now we're helping you to recycle more. We'll help you to make this easier to do with an additional bag and its colours blue. Black should contain your entire hoard of paper and your folded cardboard. Green is for your glass of any colour hue, plus jars with lids on and drink cartons too. Blue is for plastic bottles, pots and trays, plus tin cans, aerosols and foil, it says. Brown is for food that you do not eat, fits in this box. Now isn't that sweet? Batteries and small electrics, we now can brag. You can leave these out in a carrier bag. 4 coloured boxes to help you and us sort out the rubbish without a fuss. Remember, every 3 weeks, it's your waste bin. There'll be plenty of room. It will all fit in. If you have any queries or have any doubt, just give us a call and we'll help you out. Which nicely brings us to saying hello again to both Mark and Colin. Hi, hello, nice Wendy. To see you again.
Hi.
Hi. And this is the final time prior to the launch now. So,
that's right.
Off we go, as it were.
Very timely, yeah. So shall I, we'll quickly run through a little presentation and then be there to hopefully ask any questions, answer any questions. I'll quickly pop the presentation up. Okay. Okay. Can you see that all right?
Yeah, it's just coming up now. So what I'm going to do, Colin, while Mark does the presentation, is I'm going to put it on full screen. So let's go add to stream, and there we go.
Lovely. Okay, I won't, so I've been through this once before, so I won't take too long, but hopefully it's just a refresher. So recycle more. What is it all about? It is about this slide not turning. What is Recycle More about? This is a new expanded recycling service that we're introducing, which will expand what you can collect at the curbside. So you will be able to have more recycling collected from outside your front door. And the most important part of that is plastic pots, tubs and trays. Because you will be able to recycle much more material that way, then rubbish collections will be moving from 2 weekly to 3 weekly. And it'll mean a change of collection days for around a third of people. And perhaps the most kind of striking thing that people will notice is a new recycling container, a bright blue bag. Already those sorts of things are used in different parts of the country. If you go to Cornwall, you'll see they're using bags. But for Somerset, it's a new thing, and it will go alongside, so working with your green box, your black box, and your food waste caddy. So this will all mean putting some slightly different materials into the different containers. And to say this is for all residential properties in the county, so that includes those that have a communal collection, so where recycling or rubbish is collected from like a shared space. And just mention in passing, we will be improving what schools can recycle too. So a quick, why are we doing it? Well, we're quite good at recycling, but we could do better. Perhaps the telling statistic is more than half of what we found to be in the kind of average Somerset bin could have been recycled. So even before we introduced Recycle More, half the stuff that was in your wheelie bin could have been in your green or black box or your food waste bin. And obviously everything we recycle, it saves carbon. We saved 67,500 tons 2019-20. We'll have some updated figures soon for last year. And then there's a cost saving to the local authorities. So it protects the environment and does help save a little bit of money, which is always important. So the bright blue bag. Now that's hopefully very pertinent in Somerset at the moment, because starting on Monday, well, it started on Monday, we're distributing the bright blue bags. And to be clear, this is taking place over 2 weeks. So there will be some parts of the district that haven't had them yet, but don't panic. They are on their way. We'll make sure you got them before the service launches. But if you haven't had one yet, there's no reason to panic, no reason to ring up or get in touch. It's all fine. It's just they're on their way. And the bright blue bag, that's 60 litres, surprisingly big once you fold it up. That's for your plastic bottles, pots, tubs and trays with the new collections. And you'll also put tins and cans in there, foil and empty aerosols. And this is one of the parts of the service that people do get a bit concerned about. The bag, how's it going to work? Like I say, different parts of the country are already using these, but we know they're tough and hard wearing. Ours has got like a rubber base in it, so it won't blow away. It folds right down flat when you're not using it, and it's got a Velcro fastening along the top to make sure stuff doesn't blow out. Quite a lot of people get in touch after we've delivered them in Mendip saying, "Where's the lid? Ours hasn't got a lid." You just have to reach down inside and pull it out. There is a lid in there. And then 3 weekly collections. Obviously, we are making it possible to recycle more from your doorstep, but the other side of the coin is 3 weekly collections, and that is something that might have some people, a bit concerned. So it's worth noting that about 16 authorities in the UK are already doing this. We launched this service in Mendip in October, and it's working really well. We trialed it in Somerset 6 years ago, and it worked well there. So appreciate that some people might be a little bit nervous about it, but I think the overriding message is give it a try, and almost everyone finds it works fine. And what you really do start to find once you've got the blue bag is how much space that creates in your bin. Plastic takes up a lot of space. It doesn't weigh a lot, but it takes up a lot of space. So put that in the blue bag, and all that space is saved from your black bin. Mentioning two new routes and collection days, because we've had to change the routes of collection slightly. That does mean about a third of people will have a new collection day, and obviously that's something new to get in your head. Garden waste collections aren't affected by this, so if you're a subscriber to that service, that's not affected by Recycle More. So a little bit more about materials: plastic pots, tubs and trays, food and drinks cartons, so like that Tetra Pak stuff that you might get soya milk in or fruit juices, and then small household electricals and batteries. So small household appliances, we mean toasters, irons, anything that can basically fit into the size of a carrier bag. So you can't take a fridge from your front drive, but what we can do is take those small appliances. And the kind of same goes for batteries. We're talking about the batteries that you might have in any kind of household appliance, but not a car battery or anything like that. And going back to the plastics, because that's probably the most important item and something that will be the big change. To be clear, what the new service is going to collect is plastic pots, tubs and trays, not all plastics, and I'll say a little bit more about that in a second. So all of this does mean you need to sort things slightly differently into your recycling boxes and your new blue bag. So plastics, someone more knowledgeable than I could spend hours talking about it. I could spend a minute, but plastics, it's complicated about what can and can't be recycled. And what we would want to do, what we're doing, is collecting plastics that we know for sure we will be able to recycle and almost entirely recycle in the UK. So that's plastic pots, tubs and trays. So your yogurt pots, soup, any sort of pots, and it's worth thinking outside of a kitchen. So face cream or hair gel, those are pots too. You find them in the bathroom. Tubs, so margarine tubs, ice cream tubs, or laundry tablets. Trays, that so much stuff comes in. Plastic trays for fruit or meat, and it includes plastic egg boxes like that. And that's on top of the plastic bottles, so your milk bottles, but also again thinking outside the kitchen, shampoo, that sort of thing. So that can all go in the bag, and we can do that. We can take that because we know that we can find UK-based recyclers. And I think last year over 99% of what we collected, the plastic, was recycled in the UK, and that's great because then it's not washing up on a beach in some far-flung corner of the world or being burnt somewhere. So that's what we can take. What we can't take, because we couldn't guarantee that it would be recycled and be recycled in the UK, it's thin and stretchy. So all the other sorts of weird and wonderful plastics that are out there. So those thin and stretchy plastics like carrier bags or your bread bags or the film that goes over punnets of fruit or around meat, we can't take that. So that needs to, when you're recycling, that comes off, has to go in your bin. The punnet, yep, we can take that. mixed materials. So although sometimes they don't look at various things, are actually composites of various materials, and once they're together, getting them apart again is really difficult. So they again are difficult to recycle. So pet food pouches are a classic one. Lots of people want to know if we can recycle those. Unfortunately, we can't. Crisp packets are the same. Then you've got things like dishwasher tablet bags. Yep, they can't go either. And then there are some other plastics, like hard plastics, like toys or CD cases, car parts, coat hangers, those really hard plastics. So you do find that the ones we can take account for a huge amount and lots of space, but we do need to be careful that we don't start getting lots of those other plastics, because they contaminate the collections and make it hard for us to recycle. But this is an ever-changing picture. So if you're keen-eyed, you may see that more and more supermarkets are starting to take some of this stuff. So we know Tesco fairly recently announced it was taking some of those stretchy, flexible plastics, and that's great to see. Retailers taking a bit more responsibility for the waste that they produce. So that's a good sign, and no doubt things will change and get better. But so keep an eye out for those. And there's also a website called TerraCycle, which is basically a kind of volunteer local network of collections. It's one of those things you have to go in and type in what you want to recycle and where you are, and it will show you if there's a collection nearby. So if you're really keen, and it's great if you are, then have a little look at TerraCycle as well. So plastics. And then, so this is something that hopefully everybody in South Somerset will now have seen. It is the what goes where diagram. So here's your containers, and here's the new kind of configuration of what you can recycle. Paper and card in the black, glass and cartons in the green, and then your big bright blue bag for pots, tubs and trays, tins and cans, and foil and aerosols. Food waste stays the same. Please recycle your food waste. If you haven't started yet, please do, because it's one of the most important ways of saving carbon. Still goes in your food waste caddy, and then small electricals and batteries go in, like, so a carrier bag ideally by the side of your recycling. Textiles, that is a bit of a movable feast just because of the way the market is. Again, we don't want to collect things that we can't then move on properly. So at the moment, we are collecting only good quality clothes and shoes. So by good quality, we mean something that you might give to a charity shop. And to be honest, the best thing you can do is take it to a charity shop. I know that's not always as easy as it used to be at the moment, but that's the best way to get those recycled. But if you want to leave them out from us, it's only good quality shoes and clothes that we're collecting. Help and support. This is a change. It's any change, it's a change of something. Of routine, routines for a lot of people. So we understand it might take a bit of bedding in, but the good thing is we've shown that we've seen in Mendip, and we've seen elsewhere, that people get used to it pretty quickly and it works well. But there is support available. We've got information on the website, and the website address is somersetwaste.gov.uk/recycle-more. Hopefully lots of information there, and some videos and that sort of stuff, and tips for managing your waste. Customer services are there. So South Somerset District Council's customer services are the first point of call. They're briefed and can help with inquiries. We've got some extra staff, including waste management officers, who will be on the ground trying to make sure it all works smoothly. And we're coming along to things like this and running sort of Facebook Q&As. The next one of those is just the 5th of July, I believe, where again we'll be available online to answer questions. Okay. And anyone who does have real concerns and feels like they might need more space, they can request it, and we'll look at those. Everyone's circumstances are different, and we'll look at an individual circumstances, and we'll come back. But I would say, above all, try it first. If you're concerned, give it a go, because you'll almost certainly find that actually it works really well. And if after that you've still got concerns, then do get in touch. Communal recycling, just to quickly mention, we are changing things for, there's about 260 sites, 4,000 households in South Somerset who have communal recycling, by which I mean their waste is collected from some sort of shared location, and there's a really wide variety of mixtures of settings and sorts of communal collections. Some people have got communal collections of most things, and then a doorstep collection of others, but the bottom line is we've gone through all those sites, and where possible, we're providing the full curbside service that you would get elsewhere. Where that's not possible because there's not enough room or not the right access, then we are going to make it possible to recycle more from your communal collection. So adding plastic bottles, pots, tubs and trays and cardboard to communal collections. And if you get food waste recycled, that will continue. And in the kind of longer term, we'll be trying to encourage lots of people to recycle more food waste. Mendip, yeah, I mean, probably not much use here, but basically what we wanted people to do was order additional containers, and so they can recycle more works best if you're making full use of all your weekly recycling. So that means having a green box, having a black box, and putting the right stuff in it. So if you haven't got those, get in touch and we can get them to you free of charge. That's great. And the promising sign there is, so in Mendip, we found that in 98.5% of cases, collections, that I think almost immediately after it was rolled out, the right materials were going in the right containers on the right day. So it does work, and people get into that routine really quickly. We've got some figures here for how Recycle More went in Mendip. I would say we haven't done a little flashy graphic yet, but we got 24-week figures now. So this was after 15. We've now got 24 weeks, 6-month figures. And what we're seeing is very broadly, recycling goes up by about 20%, rubbish goes down about 20%, and we collect about 100 extra tons more recycling every week. A lot of that being plastic, though also other materials are going up as well. So a really kind of positive picture in terms of getting more recycling through, going to the right place, less going in the bins, more going into recycling, which is brilliant. And there's no reason why that won't be the case in South Somerset. Communications, see, some of this will hopefully ring bells because you would have had. So there was a leaflet about 4 weeks ago now, which was kind of just introducing the topic, but more importantly, the one that would have arrived just a week or so ago, which gives you your collection day calendar and that graphic I showed you a little bit earlier about what goes into each container. So I think, Wendy, you're going to wave some of those around in a minute just to make sure. But if you haven't got one of those, get in touch, because the calendar is, it's very important, because this sets out for the next year when your collections are going to be, and they'll be different depending on where you live. And as well as that, we've got website information, and we do stuff through the media and all that sort of thing that you'd expect. And just to mention in passing, we are going out to schools in South Somerset. Primary schools, we always do that through an organisation called the Carrymore Environmental Trust. So we do that regularly to talk about recycling and encourage recycling. We'll be offering visits, so we are already offering visits to all the primaries in South Somerset to do that, but with a recycle more element to it. So all the kids know and can go home and talk to their parents about it as well, about what Recycle More is all about, how it works. Next step. So this is the end of the rambling presentation, but we should be in the thick of the blue bag delivery. So if you haven't had one, fear not, it should be on its way. And as long as you've got it before the week that starts the 28th, the first collections, then you'll be fine. Recycle More starts on the 28th. Obviously, depending on what day your collection is, that will decide the first day you get your, you need to use your bright blue bag. We've got a Facebook Q&A on the 5th of July, just after rollout. You're very welcome to join. And another one of these lovely cafes on the 23rd of July. So that's it for the presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing now, because if that's okay, Wendy.
Hi, yep, let's get off here. There we go. So, as you say, the presentation, which we've been through, we've got a lovely comment from somebody in Mendip saying, loving it. Main waste bin is hardly full after 3 weeks, and with a family of 5. Being able to recycle more has been so easy. So it's lovely to get positive feedback. Well, it's great. And a family of 5, that's pretty good going. They're obviously, pretty dedicated people. But the whole idea, I guess, of Recycle More is most people do want to recycle. Not many people actively don't want to recycle. We're just making it easier to recycle more. So it's, it's more stuff collected from your doorstep. If you take advantage of it, it makes a real difference. And that's really good to hear. That a half full refuse bin on a free weekly collection is great.
Yeah, really. And upwards of 80+% find that the capacity is more than adequate once the new service is going.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So we did do a customer satisfaction survey online, and we've also done a posted version of it. We haven't got those results back yet, but the digital results, the online results, have shown that. Oh, sorry, I should have got the figures right in front of me, but it's 80% plus who feel that this is a better. They prefer recycle more to what they had before, and it's about what you said, Colin, about thinking the bin's even the right size or even it's still too big.
Too big,
So,
yeah. Quite a lot of people think it's.
But the majority of people are saying, yeah, the bin's about the right size now.
Yeah,
So that's really good to hear.
Yeah, and that mirrors where we trialed it in the area initially to see if it would work.
It's about 6 years ago, wasn't it? And
interesting.
I think the results on the satisfaction survey were almost identical. So it just showed that it wasn't an aberration. For most people, it works really well.
And as a consumer, so from the receiving end, I can, as you say, I was going to wave about some more things. The first thing that came through the door was the calendar, as you said earlier. So if people haven't got theirs or have misplaced it, because it is going to become relevant, are they able to get more?
They are. I think if you contact customer services in South Somerset, I think they will probably say, "Can I email it to you if possible?" Ideally they'll email a copy out, but I think they'll pop some in the post if needs be.
And then the other thing you did clarify was, I'm fortunate my blue bag is here.
Yep.
But for people that haven't received it, it will be coming out to them. It's a rollout of 2 weeks.
That's right. As you can imagine, so it's getting on for sort of 80,000 properties in South Somerset. So we've got to get bags to everybody in that over a course of 2 weeks. So it's going to take a little while, but there are teams following around the recycling teams, and where possible, the idea is they pop it in your recycling box and they'll put a new sticker on your box to say what goes. There we go, Exhibit A. What goes?
I would add to that, if they are rushed, look inside your nice blue bag, because as I say, they're literally like whippets going down the road, bless them, trying to get everything done. And you may find that as opposed to being stuck on, that they are inside the box, and it very beautifully, clearly labels everything you need to do.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's a good caveat to say. Yeah, it's often like a lot of work to do in a relatively short period of time. So, it's best endeavours. In the perfect world, bag in the box, lovely, nicely stick it up. You might find that if they're dashing to try and make sure they get around, they might pop them in the bag instead. And that is and that's attached to your blue bag, I believe.
This is attached again, so you have a nice, very quick, easy referral. Whoops, the other way. So you can see what goes where, and then on the flip side, it's saying, say hello to your blue bag, and it clearly states everything that can go in there.
Yeah. So, and coming back to those, the leaflet with the calendar in, obviously a really kind of important thing is to hold on to those, keep them. That's the sort of thing you'll pop up on your fridge or on a note on your pin board, just to remind you that, because it's got, I think, 12 months worth of collection dates in it, and we can email them, we can send them out, and you can look it up online. But having that somewhere nice and handy in a drawer, on your fridge, wherever you keep stuff like that, is really crucial. So keep hold of it, and it will serve you well. And also, what we did mention was interim collections. So for a number of people, what we want to do is make sure, as you move from one to the other, that nobody has to wait too long for a refuse collection. So for a number of people, and I've forgotten what proportion, can you remember, Colin?
1/3.
Yeah.
So it's a third of people will have a different collection day, but it'll be a smaller number who will have an interim collection.
I think it was about 4,000 or 5,000 people will have an interim collection, which will be carried out on a Saturday.
Yeah, so if you're one of those, you should have got that, which says there will be an extra collection on a Saturday. So that's to make sure you don't there's not too big a gap between refuse collections. So, but if you haven't had one, don't panic. It will just because your collections you don't need one, basically. Yeah, and I think I'm trying to think of anything else you wanted to flag up. I did dwell a bit on the plastics stuff in the presentation, but that is probably more than anything the most complicated and difficult bit to get over, because we do get lots of people saying, well, can you give me a long list of everything I can't put in, which is difficult. So it's best to talk about what you can put in, and assume if it's not on that list, if it's not a pot, tub, or tray, then it sadly can't go in there. And that picture may change over time, but for now, certainly pots, tubs, trays. Think outside the kitchen. It's not just the stuff that's in your fridge or your kitchen cupboards. It's
And
what's in the bathroom sometimes.
The way you've said it that I remember is for the other stuff, just as a simple rule, is crinkly, soft, and then the other extreme, if it's very hard and breaks, and snaps.
Absolutely, yeah, that's probably a good way of thinking about it. So God, yeah. So when you try and list everything, it's impossible. Anything, toothbrushes, no. CD cases, no. But pots, tubs, and trays, yes, please.
And again, it's reassuring everybody of the fact that the customer services have got extra staff on, and to call them. Do you have a number for your customer services, or is it just the one that's?
It's the South Somerset customer contact, which I think is 01935 462 462. But I would say lots of stuff, as you know, they're busy, as obviously they're a busy bunch of people. So where possible, please do have a little look online. If you are online, have a quick look at the website, because often you find that answers most of your questions. And if you do want to, so for example, request a extra recycling box, there's something called My Waste Services, which is basically an online way of doing pretty much everything you can do with customer services anyway. So if you need to report a miscollection, you can do that on there, 24/7. If you want to request a recycling container, you can do that on there. If you want to make a comment, complaint, whatever, you can do it all through there, and you can do that 24/7 rather than trying to get through on the phone lines, because it is invariably busy, and all customer contact people are working from home at the moment, which is makes it all just that little bit harder.
Yeah, and the next time we meet up, we're going to be reviewing, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, we'll be a good 2 or 3, 3 weeks into it, won't we? So everyone should have had their first new rubbish collection and 3 weeks worth of the new recycling collections. So we're starting to get, hopefully starting to get into that routine. Hopefully we'll see what we saw in Mendip, which was, almost everybody finding, slotting into the new routine really quickly. And I think 100 tons of extra recycling every week is, not to be sniffed at. And, it's there's more people in South Somerset. So, it would be great if we could see South Somerset generating even more than that.
And to say, that's all bad. If people that are watching this and have seen this now found it helpful or had problems, please watch us in July to get yourself heard and get your issues out there, really, isn't it? Or indeed all of their compliments and the praise.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had a message from South Somerset. Unfortunately, their phone lines are currently turned off.
Oh.
So you will have to go online currently.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how long that's for or how long it's been the case, but
right. Okay. Sorry about that. Moving a moving picture.
Yeah. And a common question we've had in these in the past is if you're living alone or you don't produce that much waste, which is what we're all intending. The best thing is not to produce it in the first place. If you are living alone, you don't produce much waste, it is okay to continue to use one container. But what we will say is if you are doing that, it needs to be a box, because our crews can't sort through the bag. The bag is emptied straight into a container. So if it has glass or anything in it, we'd have to reject we'd have to just leave it.
So the bag all goes into the same thing on the truck, and then gets separated separately by some really powerful big magnets and a big machine up at the depot. Yeah. But if you are, I think we normally say the black box, don't we? I can't remember why, but that's
because it's the biggest.
Yeah.
It's still sort it if you can to help the crews and get them along the street so we can collect everybody.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't expect you to, use separate containers for one can and one bottle.
And conversely, if you're finding you're recycling like heck and you need more than one of any of the containers, just order another one free of charge. That's fine. Within reason, don't order 100. But if you need an extra blue bag because you're finding you're recycling so much plastic and metal, that's great. get another one about, and to save space, it's good to just stack stuff inside the box, or maybe give the cans a crush before you put them in. That sort of thing all creates more space.
All very good sound advice, and as you say, it's almost launch day, so
yeah, not long now at all. So Monday the 28th, that will be the first round of collections. So that won't be everybody, but it'll be a good chunk of people, and fingers crossed it'll all go nice and smoothly, and we'll see lots more recycling coming in.
And if anybody's got any questions, go online, please, and have a look. And once you've found the site, if like me, you find yourself going back and updating and refreshing and seeing what's going on, because it's actually quite an interesting site to read about, isn't it? It's not just
no, it's not just recycle more. It gives you good
all sorts of stuff.
Good advice about minimising your waste, which is
exactly as Colin said. So we talk about the waste hierarchy. So in the ideal world, you don't buy stuff you don't need. It. So reduce, reuse. Do something. Don't chuck it out. Do something different with it if you can. And then we're the third. Then recycling is the third tier. Really, you only get to recycle if you can't reuse it. And there's more information on the site about reduce and reuse and that sort of thing.
So I think everything's covered. People, as I say, we will monitor the comments box. So if you are watching this after the live recording, then please do put your comments on, and we will make sure that they are answered, they get to the right place. And till next time, really, and when we all systems go, and we can have a recap.
Great.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. That's great.
Okay, this only leaves me then to say goodbye to everybody. I will be seeing you in July again with Mark and Colin. Look forward to it, but for now, goodbye. Thank you for watching.